Hey everybody, sorry. You know, I don't want this video to come off as bullying, and I don't want somebody to report this video as bullying against anyone, even a public figure or a private figure or anything. And when you point out something that could be construed as that, like somebody's physical attributes or appearances, and you actually name them and you name who they are and all that. I mean, I don't name who they are, but people know who they are. I don't want that to be construed as bullying. So I'm going to protect myself from that and redo this. All right. So sorry that I had to get off and get back on again. But so so yesterday was a day of recovering or feeling like, my healing symptom, which is menopausal symptoms, but it's not menopause because that is the Matrix's way of explaining the different checkpoints before you die. Well, I'm about 5 days or so before my next period if I were to get it. Now, those of you who just, that just have joined me and don't know really what I'm going, I'm trying to trigger amenorrhea. And amenorrhea is when the body does not see itself needing to procreate because it's 100% healthy. And when you're 100% healthy, it doesn't see as any fear of extinction. So it doesn't need to drop seeds. It doesn't need to feel sexual. It doesn't need to feel anything. It just needs to just continuously live. And so my curse throughout my whole life was my reproductive system. And so I'm now going through a healing symptom. And healing symptoms and symptoms in the matrix are the same thing. Any symptom out there is basically the body trying to heal. And people don't understand that symptoms is the body trying to heal. It's red flags saying, please give me nutrition. And so we have people who ignore that, and they use negative elements to anesthetize their immune system so they don't feel and heal. They just, anesthetize their body so they don't feel anything, and then the body degrades even more because you haven't given it what it needs. The more you are in pain, the more you are healing, but you have to have an end to that pain at some point, right? You don't want to be in pain forever. Once you heal, you're not going to be in pain anymore. Okay, so yesterday yesterday I was a bit more tired, not because of New Year's Eve, because I didn't eat that much on New Year's Eve. If I didn't do any alcohol, hardly ate anything really, had maybe one plate of certain things that were off the protocol, but I don't eat on the protocol 100%, but I don't also eat, buffalo chicken, dip. I don't eat corn chips, and I don't eat the sauerkraut and pork, okay, which is what was, offered. And I ate it because it's a tradition, right? And that's fine. So, so I shouldn't really be recovering, so to speak. But yesterday, it was a day where I felt tired. And even today, I feel a little bit tired. I mean, I slept really good. I had major crazy flying dreams. And I'll tell you about that later. But so I'm trying to hit amenorrhea. So my last period was December 8th. And before that was October 20th, which was 49 days in between my period. 49 days, which means that I am taking myself back to when I was 13 or 14, when there is 49 days in between your period. And then my period that I had back in December 8th was like about 8 days, 7 days long, which is basically unheard of. I usually have my period for 3 or 4 days and 28, 30 days in between. Oh no, it was like, a heavy and then a light, no different than when I was 13, 14, 15, 16. So just seeing how my period and how my menstruation is playing out is like traveling back in time, because it reminds me of the days when I was younger, when I wasn't as mutated. And then since those times, I've had Norplant, I've had prescription drugs and pills and powders and supplements, all of that. And I've had the attack on my reproductive system my whole life. So my major issue that I came in with, with this protocol was the fact that I had premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which I have since reversed. And my husband can attest to that because he's seen how I was when I was completely just totally bipolar every single month. Okay. So the fact that I am dealing with a menopause type of symptom says that I'm probably going to be hitting amenorrhea. So even if my husband and I are having sex, because we still have sex once a week or so, even if we're still having sex, I don't see it as shaking the tree to induce seeds being dropped, because his actions and my actions during that, which is a type of mutation to the body, is no different than being exposed to pollution, being exposed to, all the different, Wi-Fi, EMF, radiation energies out there, no different than any kind of exposure through food that's negative elements, because you can't get away from negative elements. You can't. There's no way. But the way that you can counter things is with positive elements, understanding the role of negative elements and having predominantly the positive elements, because there is a balance that you have to achieve and work from. And that is like the elemental composition of the human body. You have the first 9 elements. It's the predominant elements like oxygen, water, and salt, and magnesium, and all that, electrolytes. And then you have all the rest. The last like 20, 30 elements is all the trace minerals, and you find that's what's in the salt, the minerals, what's in the food supply, that's what's in the air. You get minerals from the freaking airplanes. You get minerals in the ground. You get minerals in your GMO food. So this is why I have zero sympathy for the organic industry and the GMO platform. Monsanto is not the enemy. Biotech isn't the enemy. It's the enemy to those that bring to the table mutations they've never ever dealt with. And then what happens is that they take in more elements, and if you're 99.99% battery dead, then it doesn't matter what you take, whether it's a GMO food, whether it's air that you breathe, whether it's somebody coming in that's shedding from a vaccine, they would die from that exposure because they're 99% battery dead. They don't have enough stuff to counter those negative forces. Because, if the government really wanted to kill us, we would all be dead. We would all be dead. The fact that you're able to eat a GMO piece of fruit, the fact that you're able to breathe the air, the fact that you're able to handle the Wi-Fi radiation says that you have now some responsibility. We're trying to, create an infrastructure, and we're trying to give you a certain expectation of living. And so, yeah, there's going to be negative elements are going to be kicked up. You want heat, you want running water, you want, trucks bringing you food to your grocery store. You're going to have to deal with some negative elements, a certain amount. Now, the regulations out there, the EPA and all that stuff, will kind of monitor and see, well, is this amount of elements going to kill and decimate the whole population? Because if the whole population is completely dead, then somebody's violating the EPA standards, okay? Hey, Elizabeth. So the fact that the EPA isn't going after the chemtrails is because it's not a danger to you. You have to also bring something to the table to counter those forces. If you're going to eat straight, nasty processed food all the time, like Taco Bell and McDonald's and yucky food, and you're not even going to take Jilly Juice or even do something remotely to counter those negative elements that you can't help because of your expectation of your community, then you have no room to freaking bitch. You can't go and you have no grounds to sue anybody. The fact that some people have said that they've sued Monsanto or Roundup and supposedly won, I'm saying that probably because they didn't have the warnings to say that your constant exposure to this element would then cause leukemia or other stuff, right? If you are putting Roundup on your lawn and you have a bunch of dogs that go and play in the lawn, then yeah, you would have to probably put a warning on that bottle that says this Roundup, when it's condensed in this amount and you're putting it on your lawn and you have kids and you have animals that are always on there and you're not helping them with countering elements to counter that, then yeah, you got to have a warning on everything that has a lot of negative elements. The reason why cabbage, water, and salt isn't controlled is because there's not enough negative elements, enough negative elements to do any damage to a person. Cabbage, water, and salt lactofermentation doesn't have warning signs because it's not controlled. There's no FDA standards that have to be with fermented cabbage, water, and salt. But since I had a lot of complaints, I had to now put out what to substantiate to the OAG, since I did not fit into the FDA categories, for one, and number two, I couldn't advertise in the way I was advertising. Okay, so I changed my advertising on the website, which is a government area when it comes to the public market. Okay, so yeah, so there, I have no sympathy, no love for the political platforms that claim that everybody's being killed by the government. No, the government is not trying to kill you. There are people out there that cut drugs with everything under their kitchen, and they give out these pills, and there's no regulation on them. So you have no idea what these pills are being cut with if you happen to be a pill popper. And there is no insert in these street drugs that are out there. So yeah, there's going to be a drug war because they don't want people dying. Now, if you go and get a prescription drug out of your voluntary choice, okay, they're going to say, okay, well, we've warned you. Hey, these are the side effects. This is what could possibly happen, whether it's a drug, a vaccine, or anything. And then you're going to have to make the best choice. And when people make choices that, that they think that people make choices and they don't take responsibility, then they blame everybody around them. Those are the people that are those are the people that are children in our society. And so, so I don't blame biotech. They're not the enemy. Monsanto is not the enemy. You want to have groceries come. Yeah, some of you are like, yeah, I grow my own, my own vegetables, my own fruit. Bullshit, because if that were the case, if you were actually a 100% self-sustainable, then you wouldn't be on Facebook. You'd be out there in the Himalayan mountains fending for yourself. But the fact that you're on Facebook being an activist, and you're not dead from the infrastructure, and all you're doing is bitching about GMO versus organic, you are spoiled rotten. You are entitled, you are spoiled, and you don't understand the law. Because for you to say that the government is killing you, or GMO and organic, or GMO is killing you, you'd have to prove intent. And there'd have to be major evidence that everybody died from that GMO piece of fruit or vegetable. Now, like I said, if you were 99.9999% battery dead, where you're in hospice, then yeah, I can see even organic fruit kill a person. Because guess what? First of all, the organic fruit, there's fruit, sugar. Sugar feeds candida. Candida is cancer, and then yeah, there's that. But even, even in the organic industry, they put, my husband can tell you, they put pesticides, certain kinds of chemicals on them to keep them looking relatively okay for the marketplace. Okay? So, it's great that someone can eat organic, but it's because it only has a certain amount of shelf life. But you also need negative elements in your body. Okay? You need negative elements. You don't need just purely positive elements. So yeah, there's a certain amount of mineral content in the chemtrails. They have barium, they have, strontium, and these are part of the trace minerals that your body needs. There's minerals in fluoride in your water. You need a certain amount of fluoride in your body. Now you also need to know how to counter and get rid of the excess heavy metals and excess minerals that your body doesn't need. That's called your immune system. That's called using countering forces, salt and electrolytes and nutrition and all that, right? So the whole thing with the whole water supply, yeah, there's some people that have water that's on fire. Well, that's not good. Okay, so you have to go back to the EPA and get them to, do their job. So if somebody has water on fire, that's not a good thing. But my water here, I could drink the tap water here. I don't like the smell of it or the taste of it because of the chlorine, so I leave it out if I choose to. But I did replace my filter just because the water does taste good. But even when I had the tap water in my filtration system that I didn't change that filter for like a while, it was fine. But since I have the filters are fine, I'll just put them in there. I don't care. It's not making a difference. I don't see any difference. Except for, there's not even a taste difference. So this is why, this is why I was saying to all the people that, that are like there's, there's people out there that have websites, that are obese, that have websites, and they are promoting, you know, all these different protocols. And we have a lot of people out there, like in Africa, who are revering these people, these naturopathics, these blogger moms that play with the, you know, the different detoxes and the different, you know, holistic type of stuff. I mean, you can use my juice. You can use any type of chemical out there in your house or whatever, as long as it's not going to poison you and your family, where you're not countering it. But there, I don't even look at using the friendly to the environment type of stuff. I mean, if you're dumping it in the right, you know, containers where they're going to go and process it and make it better, fine, great. But I'm done with trying to find the green stuff, right? Because you can counter all of those negative elements with positive. They wouldn't sell these things if it was really that poisonous to the environment. Yeah, don't be dumping your Windex in your sewer. But when you dump stuff down your sink, it goes through a plant that goes and then filters all the bad stuff out, because there is a lot of chemicals out there. But you know what? Chemicals are there for a reason. They have a specific purpose. Okay? So I got crazy with all the green stuff, which is basically it's all money. It's all money that doesn't really do, you know. And yeah, you may feel better. I mean, you can use my juice to clean stuff, but you don't have to. If you want to use Windex, use it. And then, you know, then do your part with the environment. Go plant a tree. Go take my juice and then water your plants with all of my juice around, you know, your whole yard. Okay, so I mean, I don't want anyone to get so extreme with the green stuff, so extreme with the organic GMO stuff, you know, because we have people who are like obese and who are having thyroid issues, trying to tell people how to be healthy and how to live. And then people in Africa who have no idea are looking at these people in America who are overprivileged, entitled, obese, thinking that that's healthy, that what they're doing with all of these different, you know, detoxes and stuff is healthy, and it's not. Now, I'm not going to name this person. That's the reason why I killed off the last video that I just did right now, because I don't want to come off as bullying. So I'm not even going to name that person. But you've seen her on my face. You've seen what I wrote on my Facebook. You can go follow my Facebook, you know, my Facebook feed and see that. But yeah, I mean, when we make fun of people's attributes, it's not that we make fun. We're pointing out inconsistencies of what they're saying and then what they're actually exemplifying. So if you're aging and you're obese and you're you know, so extreme anti-government everything, then you're not a very well-balanced person. You're very hormonal. And then you're trying to tell people how to be healthy. There's a disconnect. And that's what we have to get across to our friends and family, is we got to stop following hormonal people, because we don't want to end up, because when you induce hormones, you're on a death trajectory. That's the whole point of hormones, you know, is like the fight or flight. So I had these major dreams last night or this morning of flying. Now, yesterday I was tired because I'm, you know, dealing with the healing symptom of menopause, but it's not menopause. It's just that my body is I'm thinking with fever, like when you get a fever, it kills pathogens. And then when a woman goes through her time in the matrix, when they call it menopause, because that's the last checkpoint before she kicks off, right? The reproductive system is trying to heal. There's pathogens in her reproductive system that the body is trying to heal. And so it's trying, you know, but then those hot flashes, you know, in a woman in menopause in the matrix will stop, or they continue. I don't know. I haven't asked anybody that has dealt with hot flashes if it's all the way until they die. I've never asked someone before they died, hey, are you still experiencing hot flashes? Okay. So I'm going to assume that maybe it stops, or maybe it doesn't, and then the reproductive system shuts down. But for me, I am heading in the right context on, like, you know, trying to trigger amenorrhea, which means that amenorrhea is when you have changes, no different than menopause symptoms. You have changes in your reproductive system, with changes in your period. So menopause, where you get no period because it's shutting down, amenorrhea, you get no period because it doesn't need to, drop seeds because it's on a life trajectory. It's not trying to make copies of itself. It doesn't fear extinction. Okay, so yesterday I was feeling just really, really tired, and I was sleeping almost all day. And it wasn't like a sleep where I was trying to escape. It was like the hot flashes were just crazy. Sweating. I mean, my husband's like, "Oh my God, you're gonna get a stroke." No, it's not. No, I'm not gonna get a stroke. But I'm going through, the healing part of my reproductive system that's had issues for many, many years. And so this morning or last night, I had this crazy dream of flying. And flying means your freedom. And it makes sense because I have now finally have got my hormones at bay. That is a freedom when your hormones are finally under control. You're not led by oxytocin, where you're always looking for sex. You're not led by adrenaline, always trying to fight or flight. You're not always leading from fear, which is part of the adrenaline. Okay. And you're not being led by depression and by hopelessness and by all of that stuff that you see all over the internet, right? You are being led by the fact that you're trying to help people and you're so even. I don't feel so happy. I don't feel so sad. I don't feel so hopeless or depressed or scared or fearful. I mean, when I look at my face, when I look at like even messages that I get, I don't have that trigger, that feeling of like, anybody that triggers me, I cut them out. I cut them off. Okay. I got this new app called Facebook Mentions, and where it gives you an alert every time someone mentions your name. And you think someone like me, who would you want to have that? But I want to get a check mark next to my name on Facebook because I think it's kind of cool. And it's a challenge. Can I get a check mark? And yeah, you have to give up your social security number. You have to give up your ID. Got to give up, your address, where you live. You got to give up your phone number. And I'm fine with that because I have no fear that the government's trying to take me away, which is all the conspiracy world. No, they're just trying to verify who you are, that who you are is what you say you are. So, so right now that's in the process. Then they got to send me a letter to my house. It says, okay, here's the code, put it in the code because you got the letter. Okay, fine. So, so I get these Facebook mentions, and of course I'm getting Facebook mentions all over the internet, and they're like, oh, Jillian's a quack. Jillian's crazy. Someone's got to end Jillian or something. I'm like, and I look at it, I'm like, and I laugh. I don't even get mad. I just laugh. Not that I want to keep, I believe me, I don't want to be looking at all day long because that's negative energy. But I just want to kind of see. And so intermittently, maybe once a day or maybe once every couple of days, when I see it, I'll just look at it, be like, oh, okay, no big deal. My defenses and my body is so reinforced that it's not going to, do anything, it's not going to make me feel bad, or I'm not going to feel mutated from that. I still get people that register with crappy information, talking smack, right? And I have IP addresses. So, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, if there's any credible threat, then I'll report it to the FBI. But that's it. I mean, you can call me a see you next Tuesday. I don't care. You can call me whatever. You say I'm a crazy person. I don't really care. Of course, this information is crazy to somebody that's mutated. The reason why my stuff offends people is because they've been told their whole life they have to live with this condition of anemia. They have to live with their obesity. They have to live with all of their malfunctions. And now someone who doesn't have a degree or is anybody worth talking about is saying, no, you don't have to. But you got to work for it. It's not something you're going to get that easily. It's going to take time. I'm going on my third year. And guess what? My newest healing symptom is the hot flashes. It's going through the healing symptoms of my reproductive system as if I was a person that was menopausal in the Matrix. Okay, so you're going to be having to deal with healing symptoms for a while. This is going on my third year. You're not going to get over all of your issues in 1 year. You'll get over a huge, like maybe the main ones that are really critical, that the body sees as a priority, but you're still going to be healing even thereafter. There's going to be layers and layers of programming you're going to be peeling back. And your whole truth about the world is going to change too. You're not going to have the same truth you did a while back. That's why I keep saying that once you change your biochemistry, your truths are going to change. Your friends are going to change. A lot of things are going to change, and not everyone's going to be able to keep up, and that's okay. The reason why I get everybody scared to comment on my Facebook is because I know there's so many people that are still very hormonal. Very hormonal. And then anything that I say, they're going to react because they're still coming from a place of fear, a place of doubt, a place of where they love me, but they're not. But then, damn it, they love me, but wait till I violate one of their, their constitutions, then they're going to hate me. And those that I don't want on my Facebook, the ones that say that love me so much, and then they want to react to whatever I say. And if it doesn't really align with what they think, and then I call them on it, bam, now they hate me because they're like, oh, I triggered you. Yes, you did trigger me and I triggered you. And then guess what? We don't need to be together. If we're triggering each other, guess what? Our biochemistries aren't aligned. There's no reason for you to be in my Facebook world. You can be in my website. Unless you have an ulterior motive that you have to be on my Facebook. Because that was some of the issues that I had with somebody that just the other day. I finally had to block them on email because they didn't get it. I gave them a chance to, say, okay, I will promise I will not say anything unless it's in support 100%. Because that's what I expect. There's no reason to debate me. If you don't believe in what I say, then it doesn't matter. Scroll on. You don't need to point out the differences or act in dismay or be all like, oh my God, I can't believe this. There's no reason for that. That's a hormonal based reaction that we don't need. Then it induces debate. Because what happens is it triggers somebody else, be like, oh my God. And then guess what? You have a whole clusterfuck of people who are triggered and full of hormones. So what do? I make everybody afraid to say something on my Facebook lest they get blocked. Because now you're going to think about before what you say, is this helpful? Is this kind? Is this, is this going to, I don't know, is this in support? And if it's not, then hey, now some of you may have questions, and I say, hey, any questions about the protocol, go to my website. Any issues or any doubts or any fears about the healing symptoms, go to my website. Now I may talk about something that, like the whole thing with the healing energy, that Kevin did question. Okay, he could have taken it to, whatever, could have taken it to email, but that's okay. I give people who are in my inner circle that I vetted out for the most part a lot more leeway, and it could mislead somebody else who's just watching, thinking that they can just ask all the damn questions, and then I have to, put the hammer down. So yeah, sometimes I'm not always going to follow that rule, and I'll let you know. So I'll make a very clear-cut communication. Please do not do this. Please do not do that. Please not whatever my perspective on what you're doing, whether or not that's what you intend to do, whether or not that was what it is that you did, doesn't matter. This is how I took it. Understand it. Don't do it again. Bam. Ooh, people don't like that. Hey, that's fine. Then you really don't want to be on my Facebook. And I do try to take into account, where people are at, but some people are repeat offenders and, and I give them a chance and I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, so I will give very clear communication. But yeah, I mean, that's why I do create this fear of people talking on my Facebook unless it's in 100% in accordance with whatever I'm saying, because I don't need the debates. There's no reason for it because it's all hormonal based anyways. If you need to be letting loose hormonally, just do it to my website in the proper venue. Facebook for me is, it's a research and development for one. Number two, it's a marketing source. I like testimonies. We know there's people that are not going to understand everything about what's going on, and that's fine. That's why you have the website. So my moderator, who's very patient, can explain. And then if I'm patient one day, I'll explain too. And Lillian is amazing when it comes to when it comes to patience, because sometimes I don't have any patience for those that are like, just don't get it. So, but I know it's a learning process, and I don't always have, patience for people's learning. So that's why I do these videos. So hopefully you watch the videos, enough times that something that I say in a different way, you get it. And, so that's how I operate. So yeah, so that's why I am that way when it comes to my Facebook. I make everybody afraid to say something. But that's okay. You have that power too. If I say something on your Facebook, then you can block me or whatever, right? So we all have the power to pick and choose who we want in our life. That's our right? So anyways, so I had these flying dreams. I don't know if I remember talking about that, but yeah, these flying dreams to where, yeah, it's a freedom of hormones, right? When you're flying, It's a freedom. It's not like freedom from the government. It's not like freedom from whatever. You know, you're enslaved by your hormones. You have freedom to walk around. If you can't walk around and you're in a jail cell, then yeah, you're not free. You must have fucked up somewhere. But if you're walking down the street to your car, to your barn, to the bathroom, okay, you have freedom. What's enslaving people is their hormones. They are being led by oxytocin. They're being led by their adrenaline. They're being led by, you know, all the different hormones that are in their body that create their reality. So my flying dreams are based upon the fact that I'm finally got my hormones under control and I'm on a life trajectory. And so I had these vivid dreams of flying and doing somersaults and doing backstrokes and front strokes in the air above the trails, above the trees. I mean, I was looking down and going, swooping down, going up, and then doing somersaults and trying to do a dance in the air. I mean, it was awesome. And then my husband goes, he's a smart ass too. My husband goes, you were watching Beetlejuice the other day. You just remember that part of the film. I'm like, well, you know what? The mind has the choice to remember something of a film based upon the biochemistry of the body. So why did the mind go, if you want to use the whole movie thing as a reason why I had these dreams, and why did my body choose only that part of the film? Why not the other parts? Because there's some pretty nasty parts of Beetlejuice, some pretty satanic parts of Beetlejuice. But why did it focus on the flying part of it, right? Of course, he had nothing to say to that. Love you, honey, but I will win all those arguments you have. So anyway, so forget that for a minute, but I was flying and it was awesome and it was very vivid and it was just like it was just happened like yesterday or like right now. And I hadn't had dreams for a while because I've been dealing with this hot flashes, and I'd be up, you know, maybe half the night. I think a couple nights ago I was up almost all night. Like I couldn't sleep. And then before that I had hot flashes where I was up, but I wasn't like, you know, not tired. I just felt that my body heating up. And now like my hot flashes are happening intermittently throughout the day too. So it's a trip. I've never had to go walk outside in the front. Oh yeah, Julia. Yeah, I know. You're going to get that back, Julia. I swear you're going to get that back. It means your hormones were under control back then on some level, right? And now it's going to come full circle. So yeah, so I never had to walk outside in the front to just get some cold air. I never had to, you know, I never liked, you know, driving down the road with the window rolled down, sticking my head out going like, oh, you know, it's a trip. It's a trip. So I'm enjoying this part of the process. It's a journey. It really is. It's a journey. And you guys are going to be going through a lot of, you know, time travel, everything. I'm just looking at people going down the street wearing dark. It's like, oh my gosh, wearing dark clothes going down the street. Kids wearing black clothes. At least they're in trench coats. But anyway, so yeah, it's a trip, this journey. And just enjoy it for what it is. Like really enjoy this journey. Because you only have one life, you know, and you might as well just live for as long as you're willing to. I mean, people who have animals, you know, expire because the owner doesn't understand nutrition, so they are all upset that the owner, that the dog died. No, dogs should live indefinitely. Life on Earth should live indefinitely. And even when you have like the 4 seasons where the winter is like death, they go in hibernation. But your animals don't have to go into that kind of hibernation, because it really isn't hibernation when it comes to the animal world. There should be no death in the animal or human world. All of your pets and all of your kids and your mom and dad and everyone should be living indefinitely. And when they aren't, then there's something that happened that overwhelmed their system. Whether it was large metal, whether it was parasites and fungus, large metal and things like that, you can't really control. But, you know, my dog, I mean, our fence isn't super reinforced. She's a pit bull. And I can have the door open. She will not leave this house. She will not leave my side. Now she'll go and explore outside. But she will not go and run out in the street. She'll not go and run away. Now, I won't test it by saying, hey, look, there's a squirrel. Go find it, right? But in our backyard, we have holes in the fence. I don't live in a super high, highfalutin neighborhood. So yeah, the fence isn't reinforced. There's holes in there, but guess what? She doesn't leave. I let her out in the back. She doesn't leave the yard. So, and we had the gate open one time. She never left the gate. She never went outside that gate. So my dog feels free. She feels well taken care of. She loves where she lives. We saved her. She has no reason to run away. So when animals want to run away, it tells you a lot of their chemical imbalances. It tells you a lot of their hormonal imbalances. They live in fear. Okay, so that is a telltale sign. And there are some animals that are, we had a Tibetan Terrier, but I don't remember. That was a long time ago. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm gonna go because I'm feeling kind of like, I feel good, but I still feel like a little bit tired and a little bit drained and a lot going on. So I'm gonna do my thing, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, say, hey, hi, everything is good, and these are my latest, revelations and my latest updates on my healing symptoms and just something else for you guys to look forward to that are on this. I know I don't speak much from the male point of view. That's where Kevin's going to come into play with some of his stuff. So you'll get a male point of view in the written part. Maybe one day Kevin will speak on Facebook and give you a male perspective, and that's great. But other than that, this is where I'm at today, and everything is wonderful. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Enjoy the new year. Happy New Year. January 2nd. Woohoo. All right. Bye.